All right, thank you everybody for coming to the 2021 season banquet. First off, how about an incredible job by Rob Frank, his crew, Jason O'Neill, all season long with these videos and then putting together this documentary. You guys are pretty darn lucky to have this stuff, all you players out there. This doesn't go on in every program. Next up, if I could have these individuals stand up. Stephanie Wagner, Laura Hellman, Carrie Goodwine, Angela Grack. None of the stuff that goes on in our program happens without all of our boosters, and especially this booster board right here, and especially our president, Angela Grack. So thank you to these individuals. I'm probably going to say this multiple times. I talked about it with the video, but this isn't normal in a lot of high schools. Look at the banquet we have right now. This is absolutely phenomenal. As we go throughout the course of the year, we have our Trojan Wars that is run by Bart Wood. We have our bowling outings. We have our golf outing in the summer. I know I'm going to miss a lot of different things, but we have camp meals, Friday game day meals, which again is something a lot of schools don't do. There's a ton of work. It's a full-time job. And again, it doesn't get done without the heart and soul of our program, and that's our boosters. So again, thank you to them. The culture of this program, in my eyes, and I've coached there a long time, is an ultimate high. And I think that is because of the hard work and the dedication and the commitment of these 60-some players that are sitting in this room. You know, everybody in sports and in football can set goals, and that's just all talk. But what these guys do is it's all about the process. And after we lost our game in the state playoffs this year, we had kids in the weight room on Sunday, completely on their own. I go in there to watch some film and finish up some things. There's guys that were getting on the field in December, 2 days after we lost the game. Coach Nate has voluntary receiver workouts, and actually for any of the guys, at 5 o'clock in the morning, we don't take attendance, we don't ask or demand anything, but these guys just want to show up and they want to get better and compete. And that's why we have the success that we do in the fall. It's all about the process. It starts in January. Our weight room separates us from 90-some% of the schools that we play because of the way these guys commit themselves, and you guys get to lift in pretty much a Division I weight room. You guys are pretty lucky. That's an awesome place. So that's the reason for the success, is because of the hard work that these guys put in and the buy-in. And you know, after practice on a Tuesday night, these kids are sitting around in the locker room for a half hour just, you know, talking and having fun. So it's more than just the games. It's the relationships and the bonds and all those great things that these guys have throughout the years. That first game against Lake Catholic, we know is going to be a good opponent, and you know, we have to schedule games from all over the place for several reasons. We're not really in a league, and then because of the success that these guys have, a lot of teams don't want to play us. But to be able to go out there and see that packed stadium after the 2020 year when there was nobody in the stands, you know, that's all part of the culture too, because of the winning that these guys have, the support from our athletic department and Mark Becker, Crystal Myers, who runs our mob. I mean, that cheering section. When I started coaching McDowell 20-some years ago, we would have fans for one game. Now it doesn't matter who we play. Any game that we play, that Gus is going to be packed, and that mob's going to be out there, you know, cheering you guys on. And it's a pretty cool game day atmosphere now that we have. You know, there's a lot of things that go into making a successful football program. It's not just a football team. So I would like to recognize some of these individuals right now. We had multiple people that were doing our stats. Ace Frank, Chris Freed, Chico Vachecco, and Bob Yucano all had a big part in doing the stats for us this season. So thank you to those individuals. We had an interesting trainer situation. We had some trainers for about 2 weeks, and then they ended up leaving. But Mary Ann Love, who stepped in, she's a supervisor, but she came in to be our trainer for the year, and just did an awesome job. She was great with our guys, just was really good, so thank you to Mary Ann Love. So we have some managers and some filmers. You know, we film practice every day. Obviously, we film our games, and this doesn't get done without really a lot of time from these student trainers. So we have Nate Mendito, Coach Nate, Cadence Harvinson, Olivia Provart, Cassidy Angle, Gabby Spinelli, and Maddie Dehart were our managers and filmers for the year. The voice of McDowell football, I think he's the best in the business. He should be doing, well, he does do college games, but we're fortunate enough to have him. Ray Reisdorf. I've already mentioned these individuals, but it's worth mentioning again. Rob Frank, Jason O'Neill, Steve Pushkar does the photos and a lot of those really cool designs you see on social media. All of our senior portraits out here, so thank you to those guys. DJ Bill Page, gives us a lot of life on Friday nights with his entertainment, his music. He does the roll call with all of our guys. He does signing day. Just actually does a lot of different stuff for McDowell and McDowell football. So thank you to DJ Bill Page. Last few here. You know, we have an awesome athletic director and great athletic department, Mark Becker, Leah Fiorelli, Megan Hoffman. You know, our band, I always say it, I love when that band comes out at 6 o'clock and they come rolling into the stadium. Jerome Henderson, who's our band director. Finally, my parents, my wife and kids who couldn't make it, but my wife Carlene, Gianna, Callie, and Bo, very supportive of me and my crazy schedule always being gone. So thank you to all these individuals. I promise I'm not going to continue talking too long, but you know, we talked about Lake Catholic and getting that big win to start the year off at home, and moving on undefeated. We get to play that team down on 10th Street and beat them for the third time in a row. Not just beat them, but dominated them for the third time in a row. Defensively, they scored 3 touchdowns, offensive touchdowns, in the last 3 games against us, and that's because of obviously our guys, but the work of Coach Slokes and the defensive staff are dominating those guys. That first play, they had a 75-yard play. After that, they had 60-some yards rushing. And you know, we mentioned it on the film a little bit. We tell our guys it's a game of momentum. So they had the momentum. They went down and scored 6-0. But instead of it being 7-0, our guys just bought in on extra point. We blocked more extra points and field goals this year than any year in my coaching career that I've ever seen. There was no secret to it. Coach did a great job with it, but you guys just bought in. You blocked that extra point. They never got the momentum back the rest of the game. And then you blocked a second one. And so we gained the momentum for the next 47 minutes of that game and dominated those guys. I'm going to keep saying we dominated those guys because it was awesome. So moving on, you know, we had a team that canceled on us because of COVID that we would have, pretty sure we would have beat handedly. That team from Maryland came up. We obviously lost that game, battled back, beat Cash. Didn't have our great game in a rainstorm up at St. Francis, but we got an opportunity to play in the District 10 championship. Handed Butler again for the 3rd time. Went down to Pittsburgh, beat Taylor Alderdice in the playoffs, and then you know, we ended up losing to the team that won the state championship in Mount Lebanon, and you know, we came out and shocked them and battled, and it was one of those teams that lightning in a bottle. They had 1 junior starter on their defense, and you know, there's only 1 team that gets to finish their last game with a victory. So finishing in the top 8 in the state, I think we end up ranked 7th. You know, our seniors right now when they were in JVs were undefeated. And their varsity record through sophomore, junior, and senior year was 25-3 during the regular season. That's one heck of an accomplishment for those guys. That's an awesome career. All right, at this time, if we can hold our applause to the end, I'm going to go through our sophomores. You're going to come on up to this side of the stage. And Ange, where do we want them taking a picture? Okay, so you can come up this way, sophomores, go down the stage, and then you guys will get a picture after everybody's called. So I'm going to do a number and name here, and again, we'll hold our applause to the end. Number 12, Matt Herbie. Number 19, RJ Nag. Number 28, Bobby Blue. Number 30, Don Berarducci. Number 31, Jaden Buznowski. Number 33, Alex Sontheimer. Number 34, Eric Nevins. Number 35, Drew Pilotowski. Number 38, Jackson Johns. Number 46, Leo Whitaker. Number 49, Benny Whitaker. Number 50, Ricky Russell. Number 55, Cooper Cozzens. Number 56, John Dawson Ruiz. Number 58, Aiden Probst. Number 63, Army Kang. Number 66, Ryan White. Number 70, Darius Barnes. Number 71, Justice Miller. Number 74, Ben Moyak. Number 76, Jack Myers. Number 77, Parker Romines. Number 79, George Moles. Number 81, Travis Beers. Number 82, Jordan Zappia. Number 83, Kenya Richards. And number 84, Anthony Voto. All right, now for our juniors. We have some people missing from the banquet right now for various reasons. COVID being the obvious one. We have some winter sports. We have some people on visits that are going to look at colleges. So there are some individuals who couldn't make it today. But for our juniors now, again, going numerically, if you can come on up, juniors do the same thing as the sophomores, and we'll hold our applause to the end. Number 1, Trey Goodwine. Number 3, Joey Orlando. Number 5, Carson Hardick. Number 7, Nick Vogan. Number 8, Troy Peterson. Number 9, Ben Moore. Number 11, Christian Santiago. Number 17, Nick DeSanto. Number 18, Ricky Gladden. Number 22, Ray Jackson. Number 26, Artis Simmons. Number 29, Quentin McKinney. Number 32, Matt Valerio. Number 47, David Misko. Number 53, Nico Grack. Number 64, Avery BRINE. I'm glad it was not on the highlight video, but Avery's the individual who put me into a boot during the prep game. I thought it was a good idea to chest bump a 6'4", 325-pound individual. Didn't go my way. Number 72, Jack Soroka. Number 65, Philip Schweitzer. And number 75, Toby Lawrence. All right, before we get to the seniors here, next I would like to recognize and call up and thank the coaching staff. They work 12 months a year. I guess that's my fault. They put in a ton of time. They're gone from their families a lot of times, like myself. These guys right here are the best assistants and the best coaching staff around. They put a ton of time in. We have a great time together. I'm going to introduce these individuals here. I'll start on the offensive side of the ball. Coach Hall couldn't be here. He is home sick, but Coach Hall is our offensive line coach and was the head coach for our JVs. Coach Davison, come on up, is our receivers coach. Coach Davison was an outstanding receiver for us not that long ago, and now he's coaching our receivers, and it's always rewarding to have a former player on staff, a former Trojan, and Nate does an awesome job with our receivers. Next up is Dave Frank, familiar face from the video today? Yeah. Dave Frank coaches our running backs. He was a former head coach in the area, does a great job with special teams, and does a great job talking on the video. To the defensive side of the ball, we'll start with Matt Glass. Matt Glass is coaching our outside safeties, outside linebackers, been a defensive coordinator in the area. His father was a long-time, very successful coach at Iroquois, and Matt also, all of our coaches coach special teams, but involved with our punt rush and punt return. Next up is Coach Ferraro. Coach Ferraro coaches our inside linebackers and does an absolutely fantastic job with our punt team. I absolutely hate punting, but when we do, that unit is well prepared as any punt team around. Next up is Coach Matt Forney. Matt is also a former McDowell player. I actually coached when I was assistant years ago. He coaches our corners, does a great job with those guys. Had to briefly leave last year because of a job, but then came back like week 1, which is convenient. But we're happy to have Matt still coaching with us. Chris Spooner. Coach Spooner is an Ohio native. Coaches a defensive line. He's also been a head coach and a defensive coordinator in the area. He's been coaching at McDowell for several years now, but Coach Spooner does an awesome job with our defensive line and also our kickoff. And finally, our defensive coordinator, Coach Aaron Slocum. He's as well prepared as anybody. Sunday mornings when I get there at 10 o'clock, he'd already been there since 6 a.m., spending about 12 days breaking down our opponents, getting these guys ready for the countless hours that we spend in that film room with these players. But Coach Slokes has done an absolutely awesome job with our defense the last few years, and that's going to continue here. So big thanks here to this coaching staff. Okay, at this point, we're going to bring up each senior, briefly talk about each one of them, and then give out special awards to conclude the banquet. But we changed this a few years ago, and we have each one of our coaches speak about one or two individuals that they coach, so it's not myself up here the entire time, and they get to talk about the player that they coached over the course of the last 3 years. So first up is going to be Coach Glass.
I get the honor to talk about Matt McGregor. Matt was a 2-year starter on defense for us, also played wide receiver this year. What made Matt special is how demanding he is of himself. He wants to be great at everything he does. You can see that in practice, and you can see it on the game days. Matt is a very special athlete. He's going to be missed. Matthew McGregor, thank you for the last 2 years, and you should have been first team all-region defense.
Seniors, when the coach calls your name, you can come on up as soon as you start talking about you here.
Our next senior is a player that was also kind of a coach on the field, and I can tell you 2 things about him. Knows our scheme about as well as anybody else, and if I had a nickel for every time he kept the ball in Purdue Roof, I'd have a lot of nickels. It'd be number 4, Jake Skolnick.
Logan had a great year this year. I think he played offensively, defensively, special teams, all about 12 different positions. Utility knife guy, foxhole guy, and doesn't have the stats that, a guy that, has been so important to a defense is or has, but Logan was an extension of me out there. He got everybody lined up, and he had a great senior season. So Logan Carrick, thank you.
Unfortunately, he's not here to be recognized, but Hunter Hodges. Hunter was a tremendous two-way player for 2 years for us. Big-time playmaker. I believe he ended up making all-region receiver or DB. Yeah. Best of luck to Hunter. Like I said, unfortunately, he's not here. But.
Our next Trojan senior is number 13, Mike OSINSKI. Mike's first practice as a sophomore, his ankle exploded in a drill, and that kind of haunted him his whole sophomore year. But watching him work his way back from that ankle injury was just kind of a microcosm of everything that Mike did for our program. He was a worker from the day he got in. He transformed himself into the player that he was, and that sort of work ethic, doesn't matter whether he's working at Cockwa or whether he's in school or whatever he's doing, that work ethic is something that's an example for everybody in our program. Mike OSINSKI.
Next is Donovan Wolf, Donald. Donnie was one way for us, so I got the pleasure of seeing him every day, all day. He liked to ask me my favorite color. When he wasn't battling baseball bats in gym class, he was a staple for our defense. He ended up being an all-region first-team defense. Congratulations, best of luck to you.
Nick Molina. I had the privilege to coach Nick for several years now. The thing I loved about this kid the most is he was always there and he bought into the program. Whatever we asked him to do, he was there to do it. Whether it was special teams, played a little bit of defense earlier, then one-way offense, he did great things for us. And like I said, the number one thing I love about this kid is he did whatever we asked, which is, it's a great trait to have. Nick Molina.
Jacob Michael SOBOSKI. I don't really know what to say about him. It's a family event, but he was there every day, worked hard, bought in. Originally a linebacker, he got sent down to defensive end. He hated us for the first couple months, but eventually bought in, did great things, and he was a mainstay on the defense. Jake SOBOSKI.
Darvon Barnes. Darvon, unfortunately, had some medical issues and pretty much missed his entire senior year, unfortunately. But DeVarn, just like a lot of these guys, worked his tail off in the off season and tried to get himself ready to play his senior year. Was unfortunately not able to play, but was still wanted to be a part of this team and showed up every day and came to practice and was part of this this great group. So number 21, Darvon Barnes. Next individual is not here today, but number 24, DJ Summers. DJ was a defensive end that was converted to the secondary, played a lot of special teams for us. Really worked hard and had a really good senior year, DJ Summers. Number 27, Jack Chelinski. Jack was a receiver, was a defensive back. Again, played some special teams, really good athlete, plays baseball for our baseball program here at McDowell. Really worked hard, prepare himself. Number 27, Jack Chelinski. Number 36, Logan Hellman. So Logan was a one-way defensive end. You know, we try and get as many one-way guys as possible, and that's where we felt he would be most beneficial for him and for our defense. And, you know, unfortunately, everybody doesn't get to start, and Logan was not a starter, but definitely saw a lot of playing time, and when he did some really good things on the defensive side of the ball. So Logan Hellman.
Next senior is Bryce Wood. It's easy to look at Bryce at all his end-of-the-year awards, all-region, all-state, National Signing Day, couple Players of the Week, and think it was just God-given or it just came to him easily, but it was so much further than that. He started out in our program, and he was a tall, skinnier guy, and he was bouncing between safety and defensive end. Really had a hard time finding a spot, but the one thing he never did was stop working, stop being coached. Then between his junior and senior year, he hits the weight room and just completely rips it up, gets bigger, faster, and stronger, sets an awesome example for all the younger kids, and that's probably what got him voted captain. So it's guys like that you know, I just want to recognize and say, you know, it's not just what you accomplish your senior year, it's leading up to that. It's what's going to determine how well you play and what maybe your options are after high school. So, Bryce Wood.
Next up, number 51, AIDEN COZZENS. So again, common theme here, but you know, AIDEN didn't start as a junior. We had lost a few linemen coming into this season, his senior season, and really put some work in. One of the strongest kids on our team. I ended up starting at left guard for us on an offensive line that averaged almost 7 yards a carry, and he's a big reason for the success what we had up front. Definitely going to miss number 51, AIDEN COZZENS. The next one is number 54, Randy White. Randy White's on a college visit today, so unfortunately was not able to make the banquet. I actually taught Randy in 6th grade at Westlake. It's amazing how fast time goes by. That seemed like yesterday, and now he's going to be off to college here, and I know you parents are all thinking the same thing, but you know, time just flies with these guys. Randy was a two-way starter for us, both on offense and defense, played right tackle, extremely bright kid, very physical. Had an awesome career for McDowell, and definitely going to miss number 54, Randy White.
Number 60, Roman MEOLA. He probably one of the most technical linemen we had, both offensively and defensively. Unfortunately, you know, he had that freak injury before the prep game. But because of, and Coach Bo mentioned it earlier in terms of culture and how people work, Roman was one of the ones that set the tone for the entire defensive line room. He did great things. He embodied the McDowell way, doing things the right way. He was a teacher. He was a coach. And what a lot of people don't know is after the injury, I don't think he missed any practices. He still came every single day, coached, helped his teammates, and he was a leader on and off the field. So, Roman MEOLA.
So one last time here, a round of applause and a thank you to our seniors. While they're getting a picture here, and I hope these guys are listening, and underclassmen are listening, doing some end-of-the-year stuff and going through some numbers. Our senior class, and I sent this to several of the administrators in the district, 12 of the 16 guys had over a 3.0, and their cumulative grade point average, with all 16 of those guys averaged together, was a 3.3 during their high school career. Okay, last portion here is we're going to call these guys up. They're going to get a plaque with some of the awards and accolades that they had achieved throughout the season. Just to give you a quick explanation of what these are, there's a all-region award, and how that works is we get to nominate X amount of players for each position. So I obviously nominate the maximum amount, And then they're voted on by the coaches in the region. So Prep, Butler, Erie, ourselves, we can't vote for our own guys, of course, but that's how all region is picked. The district all-stars are completely voted on by the newspaper. And then there's 2 all-state awards. So there's a coaches select. So we nominate guys, and then we go ahead and vote on those guys, and they tally up the votes, of course. And then there's the sports writers. So we'll go through those here by each individual. And Rob, I'm going to keep these in order for your slides. So first up is going to be Avery BRINE. Avery BRINE was second team all-region offensive lineman. He was a big school all-district lineman. Next up is Logan CARRICK. Logan CARRICK was first team all-region defensive back. Next up is Cooper Cozzens. Cooper Cozzens was first team all-region offensive lineman. He was a big school all-district offensive lineman. He was D9 and D10 sports lineman of the year. He was the PA Coaches Select all-state offensive lineman, and then he was the sport writers all-state offensive lineman. Next up is AIDEN Cozzens. He was second team all-region offensive lineman. Next up is TREY GOODWINE. TREY was second team all-region defensive back, big school all-district defensive back, and D9 and D10 sports defensive back all-star. Next up is Ray Jackson. Ray Jackson was second team all-region running back. Next up was our all-purpose player here, offense, defense, special teams, kick, punt. Nick MALINA was first team all-region punter. Matt McGregor should have had more than this, but Matt McGregor was second team all-region linebacker. This is awfully impressive here, especially for only playing half of his senior year to that unfortunate injury. But Roman MEOLA was first team all-region defensive line and big school all-district defensive line. Next up, Ben Moore, second team all-region quarterback. Next up, Joey Orlando, second team all-region defensive line. Michael OSINSKI, first team all-region linebacker. Christian Santiago, second team all-region all-purpose. Artis Simmons, first team all-region running back, big school all-district running back. Jacob SOBOSKI, first team all-district defensive line and D9 and D10 sports district end, or defensive end. Alex Sontheimer, second team all-region kicker. Randy White, first team all-region offensive lineman, not here. Donovan Wolf, first team all-region defensive back. Bryce Wood, first team all-region tight end. First team all-region linebacker, big school all-district linebacker, D9 and D10 sports, all district linebacker, sports writers, all-state linebacker, coaches select all-state linebacker. Ange or Rob, do you have anything to conclude here? You do? Okay. All right. The last thing I have here is our players get more than any team around. You know, I've been to other places. I've talked to other coaches. I talked to former players that go to college and come back and say, Coach, you were right. It's unbelievable what happens here at McDowell. That happens because of our booster organization. And I'm asking parents out there that don't go to booster meetings, that don't get involved, come to the meetings. There's a lot of really good stuff that we're doing. Those are going to start here in a month and a half in the first week of March. Come to our fundraisers. You know, we do one thing a year where we sell items for a fundraiser, and I started that the first year I came to McDowell. Everything else is an event, so it's fun. It's you know, it's cheap, but it's all to benefit one thing, and that's our players and doing things for them. So come to those fundraisers. Pick one thing that you can get involved in, one committee, whether it's a golf committee, whether it's a banquet committee, no matter what. Just pick one thing to take a lot of work off of the booster board, who ends up doing a lot of different, ends up doing 90-some% of the work for this group. And we need more people involved. For the size of our program, 70 players, 30-some players on our freshmen, we should have a hell of a lot more people at our booster meetings, and we don't. So please get involved, because it's all benefiting your sons. So booster meeting, again, is going to be 1st of March. Ange Grack has that code on there. It has events that are coming up on your table. Get on the emails, get on the band app, find what's going on in this great football program, and please get involved. Thank you.